जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरंग गंधर्विका गिरिधारी जी की जय। जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरंग श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन पंचतत्वात्मक श्री गौर हरि की जय। जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरंग श्री श्री राधा नयन नाथ जी की जय। जय श्री गौर नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथ देव की जय। जय नित्यलीला परिस्तोम विष्णुपाद परमहंस शिला भक्ति वल्लभ तीर्थ गोसाई महाराज की जय। जय नित्यलीला परिस्तोम विष्णुपाद परमहंस शिला भक्ति दयित माधव गोसाई महाराज की जय। जय नित्यलीला परिस्तोम विष्णुपाद परमहंस शिला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। जय परमहंस शिला गौर किशोर दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। जय शिला सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। जय वैष्णव सार्वभौम शिला जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। जय श्री रूपानुग गुरुवर की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वसदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी गो गोवर्धन वृंदावन श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंदात्मक श्री ब्रज मंदिर की जय। जय श्री नवदीप धाम की जय। जय श्री पुरुषोत्तम धाम की जय। जय श्री बलदेव सुभद्रा जगन्नाथ श्री सुदर्शन चक्र जीव की जय। जय श्री वृंदा देवी तुलसी देवी की जय। जय सर्व विघ्न विनाशनकारी श्री नृसिंह देव की जय। जय श्री रामचंद्र भगवान स्वाविर्भाव अधिवास संकीर्तन महामहोत्सव की जय। जय श्री गुरुदेवर स्वाविर्भाव अधिवास संकीर्तन महामहोत्सव की जय। जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। जय समागत भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। गौर परमानंदे हरि बोल। वंदे हम श्री गुरु श्री जुता पादकमला श्री गुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्री रूपं साग्रजाता सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृन्द श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृन्द श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृन्द श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. Today is Adhivas, means one day prior to the function, although I know that in some parts of the world, little west here from Slovenia, they are having Ram Navami already today, like England, then West Italy, that side. But Slovenia and Vienna and India, that side, we are having tomorrow. So for us today is Adhivas, one day prior to the function. Ram Navami, tomorrow Sri Ramachandra Bhagavan will appear. Also it is the appearance day of our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivallabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. And for the last 2 days we were hearing Ramayana, means Ram Lila from Ramayana summarized. And I told that today we will hear some explanation. This is from the book of our Gurudev, Dash Avatar. So I want to read from this book some explanation of Ramchandra Avatar. Lord Shri Ramachandra is the 7th avatar of the Dash Avatar. Dash means 10. Among the 25 Lila avatars, Lord Ramachandra is the 20th avatar. This has been mentioned in the description of Matsya avatar. There are innumerable avatars, but some prominent are mentioned in Shastra. So according to counting, there is difference, like 7th, 25th, no 20th, like this. The second Purusha avatar, Shri Garbhodakashai Vishnu, in the form of Pradyumna, is the original source of Matsya, Kurma, Ram, Nrishinga and other Lila avatars. Srila Rupa Goswami, in his book Lagu Bhagavatamrita, defines Lord Ramachandra as the Paravasta or perfect form. Para Avasta, perfect form. It is from Padma Puran. Nrishinga Rama Krishneshu Shat Gunyam Paripuritam Paravasta stu te tasya dipat utpanna dipavat. Lord Nrishinga, Ramchandra and Krishna possess 60 transcendental opulences in full. When lighting many lamps from one original lamp, all the lamps possess the same nature And similarly, although Rama and Nrsimha are expansions of Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna, all three of them possess 60 qualities in full. These three, like Narayan, you can remember 50 qualities are in very minor degree in jivas. Then some more are in demigods. Then some more are in Narayan, 60. Then Krishna has 4 more sweet qualities no one else has. But they are all in that 60 transcendental opulences in full. In the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, the dignity of moral codes is established, marjada. Therefore, Sri Ramachandra is known as Marjada Purushottam, the best form of the Supreme Lord in following codes of morality. Sri Rama's pastimes exhibit all rasas up to Vatsalya rasa, parental affection. That is why Ayodhya is superior to Vaikuntha. When Gopakumar was passing through those, after Vaikuntha he went to Ayodhya, then Dwaraka and Mathura, like this. However, due to moral codes having the highest priority in these pastimes, the mood of parental affection has a restricted nature. Maharaj Dasharat established these codes, so he was unable to prevent Sri Ramachandra from going to the forest. To exemplify these codes, Sri Ramachandra accepted exile in the forest to uphold a promise that his father has made. Because Dasharatha promised he will give 2 boons, and he could not break that. And Ramchandra also did not break that order of father. But in Krishna Lila you can see that Vasudev Maharaj, he broke promise. He said he will give all his sons to Kamsa, but he did not keep promise. He took Krishna to Gokul. Dasharatha Maharaj passed away because he was unable to bear the grief of separation from his son Ramchandra. Sri Ramchandra vowed to accept only one wife, Eka Patni Vrata Dhara. Though Kshatriyas, they may have more than one wife, but he vowed that he will have only one. That is why he did not break that promise. Therefore, no one else can worship him as a husband. Kantarasa or conjugal mood is not exhibited in these pastimes. When the sages of Dandakaranya desired, where Ramachandra went, Dandakaranya we heard, the sages of Dandakaranya desired to have Sri Ramachandra as their husband. He told them to achieve conjugal bliss by paying allegiance to the gopis in his pastimes as Krishna. He blessed them. You can get my service as in Madhurya Rasa, but in Krishna Lila. He blessed them to be born there as gopis, and they got that service. Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, the prime supreme personality of Godhead, whereas Ram, Nrsimha and others are his partial manifestations, Angsha, or the parts of the partial manifestations, or Kola. Ramadimurtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan Nanavatarama Karod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramah Pumanyo Govindam Adi Purusham Tamhang Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda or Krishna, who manifested himself in different forms, such as Rama and others, as his partial manifestations or parts of his partial manifestations. Ete changsha kalah pungshah Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. Srimad Bhagavatam. Previously, in every epoch, whatever avatars are narrated as partial manifestations or parts of partial manifestations appeared to protect the world from the oppression of demons. But Shri Krishna Brajendranandan, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is original Bhagavan, prime Purush, and is even prior to Adi Purush avatar Mahavishnu. In Shri Vishnu Dharmatara, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna are mentioned as being avatars of Vasudev, Shankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha respectively. In Padma Puran, Shri Ramachandra is identified as Narayan, Shri Lakshman as Shesh, Shri Bharata as Lord Narayan's disc, chakra, and Shri Shatrughna as his conchal, Shankha. Nikkshatriyam akritagam chatrih saptakrito ramastu heichaya kulapyaya bhargavagnih sobdim babanda dasha vaktram ahan salankam sitapatir jayati lokamala gna kirtihi. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. In the form of Bhargava or Parashuram, the fiery destroyer of Heikhaya dynasty, rid the earth of the Kshatriya class 21 times. That same Lord appeared in the form of Ram, the husband of Sita, who is renowned as the purifier of the world and rescuer of the people of the world. He built a bridge across the ocean and destroyed the 10-headed Ravan, along with his kingdom of Lanka. One can see the significant influence of the holy character of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes in the life of the Hindu society of India. In the original Valmiki Ramayana, it is written as follows. The sage Valmiki appeared as the 10th son in the lineage of Pracheta Rishi. One day, while living with his disciple Bharadvaja Muni, he went to bath by the bank of the river Tamasa, which was near the Ganga. At that place, upon witnessing the killing of a male Kroncha or curlew bird by a Biedo, means hunter, and the grief of the female Kroncha, the sage became sad of heart and spoke the following poetic verse to the Biedo. Ma nishada pratishtam tvam agamah shashvati samaha yat Kroncha mitunat ekam avadi kama mohitam. This is from Valmiki's Ramayana, Balakanda. O Biad means hunter, you will never be able to achieve success and stability throughout your life since you have killed one of a pair of Kroncha birds while it was totally absorbed in lustful affairs. Thereafter, the great sage bathed in that holy place and returned to his ashram. Being stricken with grief, he was still thinking about the verse he had just uttered after spontaneously composing it. Just then, the four-headed Lord Brahma himself appeared before him and spoke the following words to console the perturbed Valmiki. O great sage, it was I who caused you to compose such a verse. Fret no longer over this matter. Instead, you should describe the holy transcendental biography of Sri Ramachandra, which was spoken by Devarshi Narad. Valmiki composed the Ramayana only because of this order of Brahma. In Bengali encyclopedia, a particular incident has been described as traditional hearsay. The story in brief is as follows. He was born from Valmika or anthill, so his name became Valmiki. When Lord Sri Ramachandra visited Valmiki's ashram near Chitrakuta, Valmiki glorified the name of Rama and his birth pastimes before the Lord. Although Valmiki was born in the house of a Brahman, he acquired an abominable, violent nature due to the association of a Byad, means hunter. He fathered many children from the womb of a Shudra, low-class woman. He practiced robbery as a means of maintaining them. One day, when he attacked some sages, they asked him to give up the practice of robbery. They said that he would have to suffer the consequences of whatever sins he was committing by robbing people. Upon returning home and asking his father, mother, wife, and other family members, he found out that they would not share the fruits of his sins. He then asked the sages for a remedy. The sages first advised him to chant the name of Ram. However, upon not being able to utter the name of Ram from his mouth, he was instructed to chant Mara, or death, instead. Following their instructions, he chanted Mara Mara for thousands of yugas. By chanting Mara Mara, the name of Rama was eventually pronounced from his mouth, and he achieved perfection in chanting the name of Lord Ram. Because he was sitting in one place while chanting for such a long time, his body had become the home of Valmikas, means ants or termites. Therefore, people gave him the name Valmiki. In the Bengali Ramayana, written by Sri Kirtivas Oja, some differences from the above description can be seen. Sri Chyavan Muni was Valmiki's father. In his youth, Valmiki's name was Ratnakar and he maintained his family by robbing. One day he attacked Brahma and Narada, who then asked Ratnakar who he thought would share in his sins. Ratnakar then returned home and asked his parents and wife if they would share the repercussions of his sinful activities. After asking everyone, he came to know that no one would share his sins. He became repentant, and when he inquired as to a remedy for these sins, Brahma advised him to chant the name of Ram. Due to excessive sins, his mouth was unable to pronounce the word Ram. Acting on Brahma's instructions, he chanted the reversed name of Mara Mara. By chanting Mara Mara, he was eventually able to chant the holy name Rama. Due to performing austerities for a long time, his body became covered with the homes of Valmikas, which was then cleansed with the rain by Indra. As the Valmikas had covered him, his name became Valmiki. He wrote the Ramayana on the instruction of Narad. The Ramayana is famous as the original epic of India. During the time of Ramayana, Sanskrit was prevalent as the spoken language in Aryan society. The word Arya, or honorable, spiritually cultured, has been used quite often in the Ramayana. Special respect for the Ramayana has been observed in places as far as Javadip, that is Java or Indonesia, although a large book, the Ramayana of Javadip, has no section divisions, but does have chapter divisions. The Valmiki Ramayana is of three kinds: Udicha, Dakshinatya and Gauriya. The Udicha indicates the northwestern Ramayana, and the Dakshinatya indicates the southern Ramayana. There is no significant difference between the text and subject of the Udicha and Dakshinatya Ramayanas. However, differences can be seen in the Gauriya Ramayana. Gaura means that northern part, Bengal, and before it spread to 5 Gauras, that northern part. Now only Bengal is called as Gaura with soft R, and from there it comes Gaura Desh, means this Bengal, complete Bengal, East Bengal, West Bengal, Gaura Deshe, and we are singing that song. And within Gaura Desh is Navadip. So from this Gaura comes not Gaura as in Gaurango, but Gaura with soft R. From this comes Gauriya Mat and Gauriya Vaishnavism. Vaishnavism coming from Bengal, because Mahaprabhu started there, and Gauriya Mat, Bengali monastery, means monastery of Bengal. This. There are 28 commentaries on the Ramayana. The Ramayana has been written in all the languages of India. Among the Ramayanas written in Indian languages, the Tamil Ramayana of Kambala, composed in the 9th century of the Christian era, the Bengali Ramayana of Kritivas, composed in the 15th century, and the Hindi Ramayana of Tulsidas, composed in the 17th century, are the most famous. In the Western countries, the Ramayana was apparently first translated into the Italian language. The Valmiki Ramayana has been written in 7 kandas, or sections: Adi Kanda, Ayodhya Kanda, Aranya Kanda, Kishkinda Kanda, Sundara Kanda, Lanka Kanda, and Uttara Kanda. The Ramayana is a voluminous scripture. It is unfortunate that now in India there is not so much as before. Some are still doing, but not like before. Every house they used to gather in the evening and they would hear Ramayana. It is very long, but they were daily reading 1 hour or so, and that was better than television. That was purifying and devotion giving, and it is always there, fighting, relationships, everything is there in Ramayana. From the description, and the point is morality in Ramayana. That is why that should be read and followed. And in Mahabharata also there is fight between Duryodhan, who is like very wicked, adharmic, and Pandavas, who are dharmic. So the purpose is to learn dharma from these scriptures. From Puranas and from Ramayana, Mahabharata, we learn about dharma, and then we have to follow dharma, then our life can be successful. otherwise doing sinful activities, only sense gratification, there is no real happiness. There is no real happiness in enjoying life. There is only mixed happiness, and it is temporary, and it is reactionary. You will have to suffer for that. So that is not good. Our soul, our real self, cannot be satisfied with enjoying life. Never. Because that happiness will not be able to touch our soul.
Вечно удаєш.
Udajem, uživa se.
Zgoda pa je samo dobim.
Refresh. Yes, sorry. She thought that I'm not live, but I'm live. So that Ramayana is better to read. But of course, we who are Gauriyas, followers of Mahaprabhu, we have to hear about Gaur Lila from Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Srimad Bhagavatam, those Leelas. Ram Lila is also described there. Summary. From the description of Ramachandra's lineage in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is understood that Ramachandra appears in the solar dynasty, Surja Vangsha. Ikshvaku, the son of Vaivasvata Manu, is the origin of solar dynasty, and his descendants proceed in the following order. Mandata from Ikshvaku, Trishanku son Harishchandra, Harishchandra son Rohita, and after that Maharaj Sagar, Asamanjas, Angshuman, Dilip, and Bhagirata. He brought Ganga. In his lineage came Ashmaka, King Balika, and other kings. If you read a Puranic Charitavali of our Gurudev, then you can get biographies of these great souls. In Puranic, our Gurudev, he wrote biographies of personal associates of Mahaprabhu. And also he wrote biographies of Puranas characters, sages and kings. Why? So that we can get teaching from their life. Rupa Goswami said we have to follow in the footsteps of great saints. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur said there are saints who came before Mahaprabhu, and there are saints who came with Mahaprabhu and after. So for us it is more important to follow these saints who came with Mahaprabhu and after him, because they are doing this Kali Yuga Dharma. But from the lives of those previous sages also we can get teaching principles about Dharma, so that we have to follow those, that how they were determined to follow Dharma in spite of all obstacles and allurements and everything. They are following Dharma, not a Dharma. So like that we also have to follow Yuga Dharma of this age, that is Nama Sankirtan, always. When Parashuram was killing the Kshatriyas, King Balika was saved from his wrath due to being surrounded by women. Hence, one of his names became Nari Kavach, means shielded by woman. Being the mul or root of the Kshatriya lineage, he became famous by the name Mulak. In the lineage of Balika, the great emperor King Katvanga took birth. He got ultimate goal of life in one moment, because he completely surrendered to Vishnu Bhagavan. In one moment. from Katanga, Dirgabahu, Raghu, Pritushrava, Aja, and finally Aja's son, Maharaj Dasharatha was born. This is the lineage, family lineage, Bongsha. Katvangat Dirgabahuscha Ragus Tasmat Pritushravaha Ajastato Maharajas Tasmat Dasharato Bhavat. Due to the prayers of the demigods, the Supreme Lord Sri Hari agreed to become the son of King Dasharatha along with his expansions as Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna. According to the description of Valmiki Ramayana, Dasharatha, acting upon the advice of Sumantra, arranged for a Putreshti Yagya. We heard. That is Yagya who can give you Putra, means son. Putreshti Yagya to be conducted by the powerful sage Rishya Shringa to obtain a son. Subsequently, he begot the Supreme Lord and his expansions as his sons in the previously mentioned four forms. His principal queen Kaushalya became pregnant after eating charu, an oblation of rice, milk and sugar boiled together, payas or kheer, which remained after the yagya. At the auspicious time of Punarvasu Nakshatra, in the fourth zodiacal sign of Cancer, in the month of Chaitra, on the 9th day of the waxing moon, Lord Sri Ramachandra appeared. That is tomorrow, and for some it is today in this world. Bharat appeared from the womb of Kaikeyi during the Pusha Nakshatra, Mina Lagna, and Lakshman and Shatrughna appeared from the womb of Sumitra during the Ashlesha Nakshatra, Karkata Lagna. Karkat Lagna means Cancer, ascendant, Cancer, and this nakshatra Mina Lagna means fish, Pisces, and yes, Cancer also. This is all according to Jyotish. Many Jyotish practitioners, because it is also mentioned in the Jyotish Shastra, Ramchandra is like a model. They can study his life. Of course, Ramchandra Bhagavan is beyond everything. He is Bhagavan, but his life is like a model that if you check his horoscope, then you can see why he lost kingdom at that time, why he lost wife at that time, why all this is like a model to study Jyotish. He's Bhagavan, but he followed his life is fully according to how he had his horoscope. Ahalya was freed of the curse of becoming a stone by dint of her encounter with Sri Ramchandra. It is not that Ramachandra is under the influence of planets, but he played such pastimes that everything is seen in his horoscope chart, and exactly like that happened in his life, means Lila. The great sage Gautama was the husband of Ahalya. Devaraj Indra deceived Ahalya by assuming the form of Gautam and corrupting her chastity. Displeased with this, Gautama cursed Ahalya and Indra. Turned to stone by the curse of Gautam, Ahalya remained without food for many years, surviving only on air. Ahalya was finally freed from this curse by the touch of the lotus feet of Sri Ramchandra, and was then reunited with her husband Gautam. In the pastimes of Sri Ramachandra, the following of ethical codes is of primary importance. His pastimes strongly evoke the sentiment of compassion. By the mercy of Sri Ramachandra, we can be saved from immorality and adharma, unrighteousness. The Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself prayed to Ramachandra in the following way to teach us: Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Rakshamam. Means, oh Ram, Raghava, you please protect me. That is from these vices, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarja, and bad character, all this. We have immorality. Because of immorality, you cannot worship Supreme Lord. That is why these four regulative principles are there. These are adharmic activities. In these four places of Kali Maharaj, there is adharma. So if you are doing these things, that is adharma. You cannot worship Krishna. From the pastimes of Ramachandra, we can learn about the necessity of accepting and serving a spiritual master, devotion to one's parents, and the duties of a brother and a wife. Supreme Lord Sri Ramachandra has exhibited the pastime of abandoning the opulence of royal life, which is very difficult to give up, and of abandoning a perfect wife for keeping dharma and ethics intact. He accepted all kinds of suffering, accepted exile in the forest, and went without food and sleep. He walked with his soft lotus feet on the forest paths, which were full of thorns. Out of love for his devotees, the Lord bestowed his mercy on the Chandala Guhaka. Chandal means outcast, not even Shudra, out, lower than that. As the protector of one who surrenders to him, the Lord awarded shelter to Vibhishan. We heard yesterday. Sri Rama's pastimes demonstrate how a hand-packed person becomes miserable. Hand-packed means one who is too much attached to wife or woman, then he is fully under control of that attachment. And how those who consider someone merely dressed as a sadhu, because Ramachandra played this pastime, that Sita was again and again telling, you give me that golden deer. He told her that is not a real deer, but he is insisting all the time, so he had to fulfill. Then he became miserable because Sita was taken. Hand-packed person becomes miserable. Our Gurudev gave example, Dhruva's father dead, Uttanpat. He had two wives, Suruchi and Suniti, but he was hand-packed to Suruchi, and that is why he also became miserable. He committed wrong to Dhruva because of his attachment to that wife. And how those who consider someone merely dressed as a sadhu, but lacking genuine qualification to be a real sadhu, become cheated and end up miserable. Sita was thinking that sannyasi who came is a real sannyasi, so she was not uh, cautious, so she became miserable. By annihilating demons such as Ravan and Kumbhakarna, he means Ramchandra destroys the living being's inner demoniac tendencies. Bol Shri Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. Ravan, he was thinking, I will enjoy life in all possible ways. These 10 heads represents 10 those karma kanda samskaras for this. To instruct his subjects and for their pleasure, he underwent suffering by asking for Sita's trial by fire and her banishment to the forest. First he had, because other people they will not believe, so he had to be ready for that test, Sita, and then again later he had to banish her to forest because some people they were speaking against Ramchandra. That one wife and one, I think it will be mentioned here, and one they were quarreling, and I forgot what happened. He brought her out. Ultimately it was that man said, I will not accept you back. I am not like Ramachandra, who accepted Sita back after she was in 1 year in that demon's house. So because of thinking like this and saying, Ramachandra had to give her up. Austerities are prohibited for those with evil motives, who are in the mode of dark ignorance, because those austerities only create havoc in the world. Like Hiranyakashipu, he did austerity, but he had evil motives, so he was terrorizing the all three worlds by his power, gotten from austerities. To teach this, he killed the Shudra Shambhuka, while the latter was engaged in performing austerities. That is not beneficial for the world. He taught all these lessons by setting the example himself. In the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadev Goswami covers the main topics by describing the transcendental pastimes of Supreme Lord Sri Ramachandra in brief. These topics are described in Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. The pastimes of Lord Sri Ramachandra are wonderful, like those of a playful baby elephant. At Sita Swayamvara, the assembly where Mother Sita was to choose her husband, in the midst of all the heroes, he playfully lifted the immensely heavy bow of Lord Shiva, Haradhanu, which was brought in by 300 men. He then bent and strung it and broke it in everyone's presence. After breaking the Haradhanu at the Swayamvara, the Lord gained King Janaka's daughter Sita, who had not been born from the womb, and who was equally as endowed as the Lord with transcendental qualities of form, beauty, age, behavior, and nature, just like Lakshmi. You can remember, Janaka also could not have children. He also arranged for yagya, and while he was plowing for that yagya mandal, for that area where yagya will be, his plow hit into some box. And he took out that box and he opened the box, and from that box Sita came out. And that furrow, that road, that is called Sita. That is why her name became Sita. Like Radharani also appears in a very wonderful, mystical way, on a lotus from the egg. Like that, Radharani as Sita also appeared from box, from earth. Then our Gurudev used to say, then with these Western people, they will say, this is all mythology. It is fictitious. It cannot be true. But we are not having that realization to understand that this is really, it is like this. It is Lila of Supreme Lord and His personal associates. Those who have transcendental eyes, they can see such Lila. And that is more real than what we perceive with these material senses. And judge by our material intelligence what is possible, what is not possible. While returning, he crushed the pride of Parashuram, who had rid the earth of Kshatriyas 21 times. As described in the Ramayana, at the time of Rama's marriage to Sita in Mithila, King Dasharatha came with his other sons, ministers and sages. There Lakshman married Urmila, the daughter of Shishadvaja Janaka, the king of Mithila, that is sister of Sita, and Bharata and Shatrughna married the two daughters of Kushadvaja, Mandavi and Shrutakirti. To reveal the condition of persons who are attached to women, Lord Sri Ramachandra, in order to fulfill the desire of his wife, ran after a golden deer. This deer was in fact Marich, who had assumed this form according to the instructions of Ravan. Taking advantage of the golden opportunity of Sri Ramachandra's absence, Ravan kidnapped Sita. To exhibit the sorrowful condition of a person who is attached to woman, Sri Ramachandra wandered in the forest in a pitiable state with his brother Lakshman, displaying distress due to separation from his beloved. And if you see in Jyotish chart, then there it is. You can see why at that moment he lost. There was separation with wife. But of course, that is only Lila for Ramachandra. He is not under any karma or planets, but doing Lila, but is exactly accordingly. By his will. In this context, as written in the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, the example of a devotee of Rama in South India is to be considered. How was it that Ravan, who was overcast with gloom and arrogance, could kidnap Sita Devi, the absolute counterpart, transcendental spiritual energy of the absolute, transcendental Supreme Lord Sri Ramachandra? Upon seeing this description in the Ramayana, a Brahmana devotee of Ram became filled with grief and gave up eating. Sriman Mahaprabhu put this question to him. Considering that the ignorant Ravan had not even seen the absolute transcendental spiritual entity Sita Devi, how could he have kidnapped her? Explaining, Sriman Mahaprabhu said that Ravan had only kidnapped the Maya Sita, or illusory material form of Sita, and that the real Sita had disappeared. The story of the kidnapping of Maya Sita is described in the Kurma Puran of Vedavyas Muni. Because you cannot, with lust, you cannot have touch with transcendental reality. So that was Maya Sita or Chaya Sita, And when Ramachandra came there to Lanka, then that Maya Sita entered into fire and real Sita came out from fire. That is written in that Kurma Purana. In the pastimes of Rama, a wonderful quality can be seen in the character of Bharat. When obstructed in the service of the Supreme Lord Sri Ramchandra, he even rejected his own mother. Gurur na sasyat, svajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat, devam na tatsyan na patish cha sasyan, namochet yash samupeta mrityum. From Bhagavatam. He who cannot rescue a conditioned soul from the worldly bondage of proximate death by advising the path of devotion to God is not entitled to be accepted as a real guru, real kinsman, real father, or explained, such a man should not endeavor to beget a child. A real mother or such a woman should not endeavor to conceive. A real demigod or such a demigod should not be eligible for worship, or a real husband, such a man should not marry. The Supreme Lord creates all living beings but is satisfied only after creating man. Man has the ability to discriminate between good and bad, eternal and non-eternal, and can worship the Supreme Lord. Human birth is not meant only for eating, sleeping, defending, and mating like the beasts, birds, aquatics, and other animals. Still, we generally find that most people have little or no inclination to worship God. Evidently, we cannot have quality and quantity at the same time. If we wish to increase quantity, we must sacrifice quality and vice versa. After killing Ravan and upon finishing the period of his forest exile, Sri Ramchandra returned to Ayodhya on the Pushpaka or flower airplane with Sita Devi, Hanuman, Sugriva and Lakshman. The citizens, Brahma and the other demigods were in a state of jubilation. However, Sri Ramchandra lamented upon hearing that his brother Bharat was eating barley cooked in the urine of a cow, was covering his body with the bark of trees, was wearing matted locks of hair, and lying down on kusha grass. 14 years he did this austerity. He was a king, but he put sandals there, as a representative of Ramachandra, and he did king's duty, but he followed austerities like he's also living in the forest. When Ramachandra returned to Ayodhya, Bharata took Lord Ramachandra's wooden shoes upon his head and came out of Nandigram accompanied by ministers, priests and citizens singing and playing music. He fell at the lotus feet of Sri Ramachandra with his eyes full of tears of love. Bharat exhibited such wonderful character. It is difficult for modern men to even contemplate such an ideal. In the present day situation, the administrative class will not hesitate to perform any heinous work to protect their position. Where there is a great attachment to position, there cannot be good administration. All immoral things doing. We can learn from the ideal examples of character of Sri Ramachandra in Bharat, what the proper character for administrators should be. Upon seeing their beloved King Sri Ramchandra after a long period of separation, his subjects showered him with flower garlands and danced in great ecstasy. At that time, Bharat carried Ramachandra's wooden shoes, Sugriva and Vibhishan carried a chamara and an excellent fan. Hanuman carried a white umbrella, Shatrughna carried a bow and quiver, Sita Devi carried a water pot filled with water from holy places, Angada carried a sword from Jambavan, and Jambavan. Angada is son of Sugriva. And Jambavan carried a golden amulet. There is more. So only this Lila I will read. While wandering in Ayodhya in disguise, Sri Ramchandra heard one of his subjects casting aspersions upon the character of Sita Devi and also on Ramachandra. Like he was telling what kind of wife is Sita, and also that Ramachandra again accepted her. He was criticizing both. Upon hearing this, the Lord banished Sita Devi even though she was pregnant. What a wonderful ideal and spirit of sacrifice this was to teach his subjects, citizens. Iti lokat bahumukat dura radyat asamvidaha patya bitena satyakta prapta pracheta sashramam. From Bhagavatam. Men with a poor fund of knowledge and heinous character speak nonsensically. Fearing such rascals, Lord Ramachandra abandoned his pregnant wife Sita Devi. Thus, after being banished by Ram, Sita Devi went to Valmiki Muni's ashram. Sri Ramchandra even abandoned his brother Lakshman, who was dearer to him than his own life, in order to maintain the codes of Dharma. This is again some lila that maybe we can read later on. Yes. Our Gurudev wrote much more about Ram Lila and Hanuman. So tomorrow we will hear about Ramachandra's appearance and these verses from Bhagavatam, which are describing his tattva and lila. 2 verses are there. They can be also applied to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And about Sita, so we can get teaching from here. So today is Adhivas. Ramachandra's appearance in this world is eternal. So if we pray to him with pure intention only for his service, then he can appear in our heart. If we want only service, he can show us this pastime of appearing in our heart and can remove all inauspicious things and can bestow service of his lotus feet. Or like a gopi in Vrindavan, he can bless So on today's one day before, we have to purify our heart by chanting Harinam and by prayers for appearance. Then tomorrow he may appear. Also tomorrow is the appearance day of our Gurudev. So we have to pray for his grace also, so that tomorrow he may appear in our heart. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ji ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Shri Radha Madan Mohan Panchadatatmak Shri Gaura Huri ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Shri Radha Nayananath Ji ki Jai. Jai Shri Gaura Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Jai Shri Jagannath Dev ki Jai. Jai Patit Pavan Shila Gurudev ki Jai. जय तदया स्वाभिर्वाप दिवस संकीर्तन महामहोत्सव की जय. जय शिल परम गुरुदेव की जय. जय शिल प्रभुपाद की जय. जय श्री रूपानुग गुरुवरे की जय. जय श्री पंचतत्व प्रभु की जय. जय श्री वृंदा देवी तुलसी देवी की जय. जय सर्व विघ्न विनाशनकारी श्री नृसिंहदेव की जय. जय श्री रामचंद्र भगवानेर स्वाभिर्भाव दिवस संकीर्तन महामहोत्सव की जय. जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. जय श्री रामायण की जय. जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. जय समागत भक्त वृंद की जय. जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल. थैंक यू ऑल. दंडवत प्रणाम. हरि बोल.